Welcome to the first upper school assembly of the school year. We're so glad to have everybody back today. Typically, these assemblies are led by students. This is the one time that I hope is the only time that I'm really the one starting things off. Typically, our two student body presidents, so we have the student council president, Muskan, and the student ATHCO president, Renee. Where did Renee go? There she is. Usually, they will be the ones up at the podium, starting us off, welcoming people, and getting into some announcements. But they both said that it's okay if I went ahead and did this today. So thank you both. First things first, I know for returning students, it's a little odd that we're meeting for assembly now. This is something the teachers and I have talked about. We do want to try this switch for at least a while and perhaps the whole school year, where we make assembly at mid-morning the first day of every week and advisory and flex. We think us getting started as a full group together is a nice way to start the day after we've gone through a couple periods. It will mean, however, that we try to be as efficient as possible, because in the old times, if assembly ran long, we just lost a couple minutes of lunch, which isn't perfect, but it at least is more manageable than losing class time. So for example, I'm going to really hold myself accountable to get you out of here on time for third period today. So in the future, we'll talk more about how we can all make sure this assembly time is efficient and effective and a good use of time. It does start off exactly with what I'm seeing right now, by the way, though, and I do want to thank you for that. I see a lot of people focused directly on me. In fact, I see everybody. And it's not just because it's me, but it's whoever is at the podium, whoever has the microphone. This is our generally one time a week we're all together. I kind of joked last year, but I do mean it, that the only person really allowed to use technology during this time is Miss Martin, as she has her phone out. Sometimes she'll tape some different things. Everyone else should be focused on the speaker and the matters at hand instead of their own personal technology or friends. So thank you all for that this morning. I do want to take some time to introduce some new people. We've got some new faculty and staff members here, all with the goal of serving you well and helping you grow throughout the year. I know some of you may have already met them because maybe they're a teacher, but I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to meet and welcome these new folks. So I'm just going to kind of look around the room as I see a new person, ask them to step forward. I do see Miss Van Horn right here. Miss Van Horn is our new art teacher. Her art room is in the same place the art room has always been, which is RC 303. So even if you don't have an art class, please feel free to stop by and say hi to Miss Van Horn. I see back in the back there, I see Mr. Matthew. Mr. Matthew will give a wave. Mr. Matthew is our new life sciences teacher. So those of you who have biology or AP biology or environmental science, you're working directly with Mr. Matthew, and his room is our life sciences room. So room 401 up in the Ryder Center. Once again, whether or not you have him in class, make sure you stop by and say hi to Mr. Matthew. A couple over from him, I see Ms. Moe. Ms. Moe will give a wave. Ms. Moe is our new math teacher, so if you have Algebra 2, Honors Algebra 2, AP Calculus AB, or Statistics, you're working directly with her, and her room is right next to Ms. Keatsman, so again, they have kind of that math core up there, RC 412. And Ms. Clemens is right here. Ms. Clemens is our new videography teacher, so if you take any of the videography courses, advanced or intro, she's that teacher. She also is co-advising with Ms. Bear, so if you're in Ms. Bear's advisory, you're now really in Ms. Bear's and Ms. Clemens' advisory. So welcome back, Ms. Clemens. And then we have a couple other people who are not direct teachers of you, but will play important roles with you. Up here I see Ms. Annalise Parker. So Ms. Parker is our new director of personalized learning. She's interested in the academic, social, and emotional growth of all students on our campus. She will actually work with all divisions, anywhere from preschool all the way up to 12th grade. Her office is located right near the cafeteria on the first floor of Sears Hall. In fact, I'm sure she wouldn't mind if the next time you're over in that direction, if you want to stop by and say hi, just go into Sears, hang a left. For those of you who had been there before, it was the old piano lab, if that helps you figure out where it's at. Beautifully decorated, very warm and welcoming. We do have a plan that Ms. Parker is actually going to come back to our upper school assembly. We're going to hold a special assembly the week after Labor Day, and she's going to come back and explain to you exactly what her role is and how you can engage with her during this school year and future. So thank you, Ms. Parker. I also see Ms. Cruz. Ms. Cruz also fills a new role here this year. She is the director of our international programs. She'll be working very closely with all of our international students, but as well she will be a resource for all students as we try to integrate the student body together with international students and domestic students. Her office is up in the 4th floor right off of the common area. So again, even if you don't have a direct reason to talk to Ms. Cruz, you can at least stop by and say hi and give a wave. I also see Ms. Johnson here. Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson is perhaps a person you'll see most often as you go between the two buildings, because she will likely most of the time be seated right outside the admissions office. Ms. Johnson fills a dual role for us this year. She works closely with Dr. Schill in admissions, but she also works closely with Coach Williams in athletics. Her role within that is kind of an administrative assistant for athletics, so she will often be the one that has a lot of information about upcoming games and schedules and times, and working with Coach Williams on getting out communications. So I would say if ever you have an athletic question, you're welcome to pose it to her as you're going by, and she can, if she doesn't have the answer, she'll consult with Coach Williams on that, so welcome. And I hate saying this, but I don't think I've left anybody out, but just in case I have. Good, I think I got everybody. I do want to recognize a returning face, but it's new for some students. I did ask Ms. Flugel to step out here today. We should have introduced her at new student orientation yesterday. For all new students here, Ms. Flugel is really the helpful go-to person if you have a particular question. Ms. Flugel's office is right back in this hallway here, right across from mine. If you're coming in late to school because of an appointment or have to leave early, you do need to stop by Ms. Flugel's office. She is the person you sign in and sign out with, actually literally signing in and out of a book, so we know that you're here. If you have a health concern during the day, Ms. Flugel is your first stop. Or if you just have a general question, you're more than welcome to ask her. And again, if she doesn't have the answer, she can help figure out and direct who will have the right answer for you. So thanks for all that you do and will do for us, Ms. Flugel. So a couple other new things I just want to mention as we get into the school year. Some of you may be aware we do have a new lunch provider this year. I do recognize that our lunch provider last year, the first day of school, this mass of upper school students went over expecting great things from Gorilla Gourmet, and the second day of school, not a lot of you went. And from there on out, things really dwindled. We recognize that as well. There were some issues that we're trying to rectify. I do encourage you, if you're looking for a lunch option, that you do give our new lunch provider a chance. WT Cafe, for those of you who were here yesterday, they actually gave away some free samples of chicken nuggets and smoothies and things like that. The one thing I will say is that the payment option is a little different. They do not accept payment on the spot. Your family does have to set up an account with them. So if you happen to go over toward the lunchroom today and don't have an account yet, go home and ask your parents tonight to help set up an account, and you'll have every opportunity to eat that food over there. As I said to the new students yesterday, we're still going to hold true to the idea that upper school students are welcome to eat wherever you'd like on campus. So this is a space where you can eat lunch. Ryder Center Commons is a space where you can eat lunch. The cafeteria is a space where you can eat lunch, although please note that middle school students may start coming in a little earlier than they have in the past. That's something that Ms. Reback and I have worked out. And of course, on a day like today, who doesn't want to eat outside? Those are all open and available to you, so please take advantage of them. Seniors, this year I'm going to start off-campus lunch for those who have turned in the form signed the day after Labor Day. So these first 2 days, no seniors can go off campus for lunch. After Labor Day, that Tuesday, anyone who has turned in the form can go out to lunch. Those who have not turned in the form are stuck here. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the form, that's one of those questions to ask Ms. Flugel. I do want to mention this helps me kind of delve into a challenge I have for all of us, something I want all of us to hold each other accountable on. We did notice last year when we expanded lunch, the ability for you to choose and eat lunch wherever you want, that things got a little messier around here. And a couple times last year I did mention that, Never saw a whole lot of change, unfortunately. I would like to mention that we've made some efforts to try to make the Learning Center a little better looking than it had in the past. Certainly we couldn't do major renovations at this point, but you'll notice maybe some new artwork, some new painting, a lot of that courtesy of Ms. Flugel or the maintenance department. We've gotten rid of a couple things we didn't need anymore, like the big TV that was back there, a couple of those computers, trying to open it up, make it a little bit nicer and more welcoming. I'm going to ask that we all, and the faculty and I have already talked about this, but students as well, I would love us to show some really nice pride in our areas. And the way to do that is to make sure that they are clean looking. Yes, I want you to use these spaces, but there's no reason that once you've used a space, that when you walk away, it should look like it was used. So here's what I'm going to ask. There's a couple simple steps we can take. Number one, this is a really simple one. If you make a mess, clean it up. I can't make it much simpler than that. We have plenty of receptacles around. We do have recycling bins, we have trash bins. If ever you see something that's getting full, like this recycling bin over here, we'll generally try to take care of it if you bring it to our attention. There are trash and recycling bins up at the commons. There are trash cans outside, or you can bring your trash back inside. And of course, there's the same in the cafeteria. There's no reason we should walk around and see trash laying around. And the only way that happens is if somebody actually, consciously walks away from a mess. Please don't do that. Now, that'll take care of 90% of it. 10% of the messes probably need a little more help. Maybe you spill something, you need help getting a broom, a vacuum, a mop. Maybe we need to call maintenance and help us out right then. We're open to doing that. Please bring it to our attention. We've tried to actually replace some of the carpeting squares in here this year. We did not replace all of them, but some of the more major stains we tried to get rid of. If you were to spill something on the carpet, the worst thing you can do is slide a chair over the spill and walk away from it, because then it's not getting cleaned up. I can't imagine a situation in which I will be frustrated with a student who comes to me and honestly said, I had an accident, I spilled something, can you help me clean it up? And I'll gladly help you, and I'll call maintenance and we'll get them over here and we'll take care of it, and we will do that frustration free, because accidents do happen. Where frustrations and concerns will arise, though, is if we walk away from things and they're discovered later on and it's too late for us to try to take care of it. Now, if we follow those two steps, clean up your mess after yourself and get help when you need it, that should take care of everything. But I will throw out a third one just in case there's anybody not fully on board. And that's if you see a mess that someone else has cleaned up. And I know this is tough. I know this is tough, but please don't hesitate to step over and pitch in and just clean it up yourself. I know that's an awful thing to have to do. It's frustrating, but again, this is our space jointly. This space, that space, every space on this campus. Let's do our best this year to take care of all of them. Given that bell, I've got two quick things. Number one, seniors, tomorrow, Mr. Rafferty and I are gonna have the senior college seminar tomorrow. I know we typically do it on Tuesdays, so tomorrow's open periods for seniors. Meet with us in the computer lab. And last but not least, not to burst your bubble, because I'm sure there are some that will technically point out to me that tomorrow is the first Friday of the month. We're not going to have a Spirit Day tomorrow. Obviously, we will have our first Spirit Day when we get back in September. With that, enjoy the rest of your first day. You go to third period.